You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Moving on, let's talk about the full member nations in Group C. So that's the West Indies, New Zealand, and Afghanistan. And let's start off with the West Indies, who are the host nation of this T20 World Cup. And their captain is Rudman Powell. They've won a couple of T20 World Cup titles, the West Indies, 2012 and 2016. The T20 World Cup in Australia in 2022, they were knocked out in the first round, and they didn't really perform well in that T20 World Cup in Australia, the West Indies, that were very poor. The West Indies, what can we say about them? Pressure as the host nation. 2022, as I mentioned, they got knocked out by Scotland. They lost to them in the first round. They lost a couple of games after that, and they were pretty much out of the tournament in 2022. They'll be hoping for a better result in 2024. Home World Cup, first time the West Indies are hosting a T20 World Cup since 2010, which saw England win the 2010 edition in the Caribbean. Can the West Indies win a home World Cup? If they do win, they will be the first the first home nation to win a T20 World Cup. As we've seen and as we've discussed with England just before, it's very hard for teams to win back-to-back titles. It's very hard to win back-to-back T20 World Cups. It's also very hard for the host nation to win a T20 World Cup at home. Out of all the winners in the T20 World Cup's history, no one has won from the host nation. So for the West Indies, it's an opportunity for them to do that. They've got some powerful batters and bowlers who can be very good on their day, and their batters can be very destructive. Their bowlers can be effective. They've got a squad that's capable, but can they put a complete performance together? That's the question for the West Indies to answer. Can they put it all together? They've got all the ingredients. Can they make it work? Can they make the recipe work, so to speak, in terms of, performing well and going all the way in 2024? You would think so. And I think for world cricket, I think everyone would be very pleased if the West Indies would win this tournament, or in fact finish in a semi-final or two. And it's very important that the West Indies do that in terms of, trying to reinvigorate cricket in the Caribbean. At the end of the day, it would be nice if the West Indies would win this T20 World Cup. But if they don't win the T20 World Cup, the one thing that they will hope to get out of this T20 World Cup, the West Indies, is to try and get people back into cricket in the Caribbean. We know that the West Indies haven't performed well over the last few years. They've been very poor. They've been very poor on all fronts across all three formats. And it's very sad to see, people not interested in cricket anymore in the Caribbean because of the West Indies not playing well. So hopefully if they can put in a good performance in this T20 World Cup, hopefully that can change everything. And hopefully, it will get people back into cricket. Hopefully that's the case. They're in an interesting group, the West Indies. They're in Group C. They've got New Zealand and Afghanistan to contend with. Along with, obviously, Papua New Guinea and Uganda. So Group C is one of those groups, along with Group D, that will cause a few surprises in this T20 World Cup. So the West Indies are got to be careful in terms of what New Zealand and Afghanistan can do, as well as their own performance. So I think for the West Indies, they are going to be in a group that is going to be challenging, but they're more than capable of qualifying and progressing to the next round and really putting in a good performance here and there. Obviously, leading up to this T20 World Cup, they had a good series win over South Africa in the T20 series. They won 3-0 in the best of three. So they've got some confidence behind them, the West Indies, and that would definitely boost their spirits going into the tournament. And as I mentioned before, everyone will want the West Indies to do well, given their poor form of late. Everyone will want them to do well in this tournament. They will want them to go all the way, maybe at best finish in the semi-finals, but hopefully win the tournament if they're good enough. So for the West Indies, Group C would be interesting. It's going to be a battle between New Zealand and Afghanistan and trying to qualify there, but they're more than capable of going through to the Super 8s. They've got a good team of players that are capable. We know what they can do in T20 cricket. It's just about putting that together in a complete performance and getting the job done. So let's hope the West Indies can do that. I think everyone will be hoping that will be the case for the West Indies team. Hi, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast YouTube channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on all our episodes and live streams from this ICC T20 World Cup for 2024. If you're watching or listening to this episode on YouTube, let us know in the comments your thoughts on how the West Indies will go in this ICC T20 World Cup for 2024. We would love to hear what you have to say.